Hey, ladies and gentlemen, live, okay, on this, what is today, Tuesday, the 1st of November. Don't forget to vote. It's that time of year. Voting has consequences or benefits, depending on how you look at it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate today from the St. Rhodes office. A few years ago, Mr. Rookie of the Year, and he's been doing big things since then, Mr. Andrew Kosloske. Welcome to the show. As you can hear, the studio audience goes crazy. They're all behind me over there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
No problem. So, Andrew, tell me a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, maybe a little bit what you did before, all that good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. First off, thanks for having me on here again. My name is Andrew Kosloske. I'm the team lead for Kosloske Group. I've been doing real estate. I just started my 4th year. So I have 3 years under my belt. I still feel a little green, but I love this job. I love the profession. I love everything about it. Before I got into real estate, I sold cars, and I felt like I was pretty good. And that was my first real toe in the water when it comes to sales, because it was commission, and I loved it. Ended up selling a car to a gal by the name of Wanda Conrad, wonderful person. And she, in the signing room, I'll never forget it, she said, hey, enjoy this because it's going to be the last car you're ever going to sell because you should go sell houses. And she continued to follow up with me. And, the rest is history. I came and check out the Success Center. I went to your Success series before I even had my license. And then after that, I was pretty much hooked and knew that this is something that I wanted to try and had the confidence to just jump all in. And I did. First year was the pandemic. You were also my coach as well. So you heard all my frustrations going on with everything that year. There's a lot of people frustrated. And to be honest, I think I managed that year. I got out of there pretty well. All my emotions and hair intact. I didn't lose them. But my first year, I did 21 deals. I got 21 deals into escrow, and I had 5 fall out because of COVID. Next year, I did around 40. This year, my 3rd year is officially over, but calendar still got 2 months left. This month and next month already. Man, time flies. And I'm close to 80. I'm so close to 80 deals. That was my goal. I think when I told you beginning of this year was around 65, but we pushed it back because we're working hard and we're kicking butt and we're lean and we're mean and we take this job seriously, and I love it. So I'm hoping I can get to 80 by the end of the year.
Yeah. And Rebecca on your team is also in my coaching. As a matter of fact, I just had a coaching call with her this morning. She's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you went, think about that. Okay. So he wrote 21 his first year. He closed 44. I know it's 40. You said 40 something, but it's 44. Yeah. And then this year you'll be at 80. That's an incredible pace. You're doubling every year. Can you double again next year?
I would love to. That would be great.
It's funny. You're doing exactly what I did because I told everybody it's easy to double for 3 years. After that, it gets really hard. And it really does because you go from, and I did the same type of thing when I started using the system that we currently use. And, a big part of it is the Mike Ferry system. It's also several others and stuff I've learned. But the foundational part is the Mike Ferry. Shout out to Mike because he's a great guy and it's a great system and it works, right? It's incredibly good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I use the Mike Ferry scripts. As you know, but some listeners who don't know me may not know, but I primarily prospect through the phone.
Yeah.
And I love it. So I try and call every day. But as of recently, a lot of people don't know this. My father passed a couple months ago. Some other personal things happened, and I am a little bit dealing with calling anxiety. If we have a chance to talk about that, it has been difficult for me. And I know there's other agents who struggle with calling or prospecting after something like that has happened. And I'm really focusing on trying to get my headspace and my mentality back to normal because it is a struggle for me. It is a struggle. Before all that happened, I usually called for around two hours, expireds, withdrawn, just listed, just solds, reverse prospecting, SOI, activation calls, all that good stuff. But after Pop's passed, it slowed down quite a bit. And I know you, as my coach, told me to make sure that I, take my time. It's gonna take some time to get back to 100%. But I'm really trying. So I just want to encourage anyone who's watching or listening. Like if you feel like you're in the same spot, maybe the hurdle that you're struggling to jump over is just doing it for the first time. Hang in there, get yourself grounded, figure out your whys, and then just increase that bar, by 5-10 minutes every single day. But keep yourself accountable. Find some people you trust. Talk to them and be open and honest with your business. I mean, because there's plenty of people in this business that have been doing it for a lot longer than me, and they legitimately don't mind to share the yoke with you and walk you through, because everyone's had a hard time in this business.
Yeah,
whether or not you believe it or not, there's plenty of people out there that can offer real sound advice.
Yeah, and that's such a great point. We have such a great company here where people are willing to do that and share with you and walk down and answer questions and spend some time. But you said great points. So you would prospect before your father passed away. You were probably making 40 contacts a day, right? Expired.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum 40 in 2-3 hours, and then you have you got some personal stuff going on, so it's not uncommon for you to take a little while to get back into the swing. But the key is how to do it because you've done it, right? So you can get back in there. It's like muscle memory.
Yeah, it really is. It's like riding a bike. That is something that I've repeatedly shown myself, and I try and stay humble. But after the last 3 years that I've had, and knowing that I can and have called on the expireds list and caught a listing, I know I can do it. The confidence is there. In my first year, I just didn't do it enough. Or the calls and, potential leads that I would get through to, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't focus on the script. I didn't focus on pushing for the close. I didn't focus on follow-up, which is a big thing too. Now I do take those calls seriously, even if I get it's real quick 15-second interaction. But sometimes in those 15 seconds, you can get a lot of information out of there, especially if it is the right person and they're, upset. Why are you calling me? Everyone's calling me, leave me alone. This is person, but I'm not going to sell anymore. Well, that person, just in that 15 seconds, they gave you huge pieces of information that a lot of new realtors and even some experienced realtors don't take seriously. We got the right person, we got the right number, and he was in fact selling his house. So we got to, what are we going to do with that information? How do we put together a follow-up plan specifically for somebody like this, so that if there is an opportunity to list that home, that it's with me, not with Rick, not with any of our other superstars here at the office, with me. Right.
And that's key too, because you don't always, they say, oh, I'm not moving. You go, okay, have a great day. And you throw the lead away, right? Of course not. You go, You dig deeper, you fight through the reflex no, get to the next question. And even then, if you don't get through, you call them back in a few days, or you put them in your follow-up system and so forth. It's just not, like you said, there's a tremendous amount of information there. That's a tremendous lead to keep, or somebody in your pipeline, right?
Yep. And I will say, while I was gone, I had Rebecca help me close this deal. So thank you very much, Rebecca, if you're listening or watching. I had found a lead 6 months into my first year of real estate. 2.5 years later, we just closed on a house. So I followed up with this gentleman for 2.5 years. And because of my diligence, I got paid with a nice paycheck. It's good. I met him on the expireds list and continue to follow up. I mean, it was more than 8 calls. I remember in the Success Series or somewhere there was some sort of literature or poster that said, hey, it's going to take you more than 1 call to secure an appointment with an expired. Now, I have had one first call appointments, which is amazing. And it makes you feel, you're like, I'm the best, definitely confidence injection. But this guy, I continued to follow for 2.5 years. And sure enough, we ended up closing on a new build. And
did he remind you that you started 2.5 years ago, or did he just?
No, it was a very complicated relationship. He's not a native to Las Vegas, but with the follow-up plan that I had, it was just, quarterly check-ins, just to see how he's doing, trying to offer him some sort of insight into the market, just to see if anything has quote unquote changed with his personal situation. Because again, it's all about them. It's not about me. It's all about them. On whether or not anything has moved the needle on his side. And again, if you're listening and paying attention to the conversation, you don't necessarily have to ask a question to get information. So a lot of the times, if you just check in with somebody, you ask them how they're doing, how's work, how's life, how's the house. A lot of the times they'll give you information that will help you process that, where they're at. Are they super, super long-term like this gentleman was? But he was definitely giving me the sales feelers of he's going to purchase something soon. Or are they just talking to you and you're just having a conversation with them? Because you don't get paid in this business to have conversations with people. Unfortunately, you do get paid in this business to, treat everyone like they're a potential client, and you offer value to their life, as a client, forever agent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Forever agent. And if they see the value, they'll use you. And if they don't, they won't. And a lot of it is what you just said. If they can tell, that they're number one with you, then they'll use you. The old saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, is absolutely 100% true in this business.
Yeah.
All right. So this is you're in your fourth year now, right? You finished your third year. I mean, calendar-wise.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So knowing what you do now, knowing what you know now, all those agents out there that would love to close 80, I have agents in my schedule, been in the business for 30 years, that would love to close 80 deals in a year, even in 2 years. So in 1 year, that's incredibly awesome, Andrew. So give them your top 3 things. What are the 3 things that you tell them to focus on most? It doesn't have to be 80 transactions, but whatever they call their goal or maximizing their potential, what would those 3 things be?
Sure. I love that question. Specifically with what you just said about maximizing your potential. And if I had to go back, or if I had like a little wormhole and I could talk to myself, one thing that I would definitely recommend people do is take the interactions with people in their SOI or with complete strangers seriously. Not in a sense where you have to be, very even keel and you can't be yourself, but, no secret agents, talk to people, and then take that interaction seriously. If you call and your primary method of prospecting is phone calls, take each phone call seriously. If you can't have a good time while you're doing it, they're definitely not going to have a good time talking to you. If you can't have a good time, with your open houses and take that person who's just walking in, right? We've all been in an open house and somebody's just saying with their hands in their pocket, I'm just looking. They don't sign a registration card. They don't whatever. Well, that's not on them. That's on you to somehow break through, right? Take responsibility. Take the job seriously. Second thing is I enjoy prospecting. I mean, like I said, I have a little hiccup there, but the second thing is find a way that you enjoy prospecting, because that is how you grow your business. That is how you grow your potential for business, is you have to prospect. So do something that you like, try them all. If you haven't tried them all yet, I recommend my first year. I remember, talking with you as the coach, I tried everything: door knocking, farming, just listed, just sold, calling, everything that you could think of. I gave it a shot because I wanted to, well, one, I wanted to do well, and 2, I wanted to figure out what works for me. And right. I did. Third thing is I would definitely brush up on your salesmanship. Really make sure you know how to lead, right? Sometimes I see newer agents, and again, even some expired agents who are, trying to grow their business, trying to do prospecting that they haven't done in 10, 15 years, which I think is amazing. But then they get someone on the phone, or they get someone at an open house that is legitimately interested in purchasing or selling something this year. And they're just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You got to be ready And that's why you got to be ready for that opportunity, because that is a big opportunity. Sometimes you have those and they don't, and you blow it. I've blown listing appointments. I'm not afraid to say it. I've blown phone calls. I've blown personal interactions with people at open houses. But then again, on the flip side too, I've learned a lot from those, and I've had way better second chances because I took them seriously. I figured out a way to get through and do my own personal way of an objection handler. And I increased my salesmanship, saleswomanship, just overall sales communication. And I broke through. So that's definitely probably number three. Not probably, it's definitely number three. Increase your salesmanship.
Yeah.
Take it seriously.
Skills. Work on your skills every single day, which is huge. Those are
you say it all the time. Athletes practice every single day.
They do.
So
actors practice and musicians practice and realtors don't. Unfortunately, you do, and some do.
Yeah, I think we all need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, this market. I mean, this market has changed. When you came in, it was one market, and then within no time, it was the best 18 months history of real estate, and now it's different, right?
Oh, it seems like it got flipped on its head within the last 3-4 months. You know, real quick. Absolutely.
Right. There's just different ways to do it, but you work, so you'll get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. You have to look at listings differently. You have to look at your buyers differently. And you really have to change your business model and how you do. I mean, like somebody who took a bunch of listings last year and is struggling to take listings this year, or they're just not selling, you need to reevaluate. You can't do the same thing you did last year and expect it to work this year. You know, you can't negotiate with buyers who had 2% interest rates the same way that you have to negotiate with, somebody who's first-time home buyer with 7.5%, FHA interest rate. You have to change, and you have to take the market for what it is and work with it.
Yeah, I've always found it interesting that agents take the market so personally, like they need to defend it. It is what it is, right? If you're going to sell today's market, your home has gone up tremendously in the last, especially if they've been in at least 3 or 4 years, 7 or 8, even better. It's doubled in value. But, but that Redfin estimate that you have that shows that your home says more than doubled, well, that's not good anymore. So, but it's still an incredible, so if you're not greedy, it's an incredible return on your investment if you're selling right now, right? Buyers, on the other hand, have a tremendous choice because they can pick out a home now where they're up against 14 people 6 months ago. So there's all kinds of benefits for today's market. You can have a home inspection. You can have an appraisal. You can actually have the sellers do stuff if it comes in. You can have the seller buy down the rate. There's all kinds of stuff you can do right now because even Dave Ramsey, I saw a skit of Dave Ramsey, who is like really conservative, live below your means, pay all your debts off. He said, buy the house. The next 5 years, the best time is now to buy a home. You can refinance it later, but you have a choice now. And when the rate comes down, and it's going to, and all the people come off the sidelines, we're going to go through a run again like we just did. I don't know if it'll be that good, but it'll be a version of that. So right now, it's like the eye of the storm. And it could be a big eye, but could last a few months, could last a year. Who knows? We've got elections coming up. We'll see what happens. But the Fed is hell bent on. I just read something. They're going to raise it again, 0.75. Like 400% more than any other year in the history of our country. Setting all kinds of records.
Overachievers are
in the wrong direction. Inflation, so all this stuff is going on at the same time. It's one of the best times in the history of our country because we have so many good things going on. But so it'd be tough to ruin it, even though the Fed's trying. All right. Yeah. So any final words, Andrew, you want to leave these wonderful people? I really appreciate you taking your time out today too, man. Good stuff.
Sure. Just something that I have noticed with this market specifically, since we were just talking about it, just some things that I recommend you focus on as a realtor here. If you're on the listing side, I think it's even more crucial this year, this quarter, this market to make sure you price correct the first time. We have to be a little bit more aggressive with our listing presentations, with the value of the home. Make sure you're prepared for really, that's it. Those type of objections. Really do your research with the comps. understand how an appraiser would look at the area and price right the first time, right?
Yeah. If you can avoid price reductions.
What's that?
I said, if you can avoid price reductions, that's the place to be.
That is the place to be. I wholeheartedly agree, especially because now people are seeing that on the buyer side, right? On the other side, people are seeing the days on market and they're like, offer 15, 20 below and see if it sticks. We have to realize if you're on the listing side, the longer your house stays on the market as active inventory, the less likely you are to receive your asking price. Okay. Mm-hmm. The longer your listing stays on the market, the less likely you are to receive your asking price. On the flip side, if you are representing buyers, I think it is very, very, very important for us as realtors to make sure, now granted, we're not lenders, but one of the things that I have noticed is the cost to close has changed due to interest rates. And we need to make sure that we are an envoy and extension of this whole process. Make sure your clients know monthly payment, all that stuff, cost to close. Because with that specific interest rate, and then have an honest conversation with your lender about, hey, these are my clients, these are their needs. When do you recommend we lock? Because I have seen a lot of deals fall through over the rising interest rates, just absolutely disintegrate because of debt to income issues. So as the buyer's agent, we have to know that is a possibility. We see the trend, we see the interest rates rising. So we have to get in front of it and we have to be honest with our buyers. I do agree with you. I agree with Dave Ramsey. Granted, I'm not some world-renowned economist or housing market specialist, but I do think it is still an amazing time to purchase. Absolutely. And that's what I'll finish with. You guys keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, stay consistent, be disciplined, take the job seriously and make some money.
You are the man, Andrew Kosloske. I was going to say, or as whenever I say call Andrew Kosloske, my Sari goes, calling Andrew Kosloske. She loses the E at the end, the Kosloske. Yeah. Anyway, you are the man. Keep it rocking, my man. I look forward. Thanks for taking your time out today. Really appreciate it, my man.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Same here.